back to the Resilience Building Program. I'm your host, Roger Ruge. Today I'm going to talk to you about a Stress Complaints Worksheet. Now this goes hand in hand with what you saw in the previous video, the Life Events Questionnaire. So this is an addition to that to bring greater awareness on how stress is actually affecting us personally. Now, we all have unique ways of experiencing and expressing physical symptoms of stress. No two people will ever be the same, but one thing is a true common theme. If we are experiencing some physical symptoms in our body of stress, that system that is most affected by it is typically the weakest system in our body. So sort of like taking a car, putting it up on some blocks, undoing the oil bolt, letting all that oil out, then starting it up and flooring the gas pedal. That's kind of how some of us live our life in terms of the stress that we experience. There's a lot going on there. And of course, in our car analogy, keep that up long enough and eventually a part will fail in that engine, causing it to seize and not function anymore. What part will that be? The weakest part. That's what's going to fail first in the engine, and our physical machine, no different. Now, as we talked about in the last video, the Center for Disease Control says 60 to 90% of all visits to primary care physicians are directly caused by stress. When's the last time your doctor asked you how you're managing your stress? Yeah, right. Interesting, right? Even though we know this is the primary cause of it, we tend to go to the prescription side of the fence and mask the symptoms, which is great. We get a little relief. But left unchecked, if the hormones of stress continue to flood the body and we're not putting enough money in our resilience bank account through self-care practices, that's when we get into trouble and things can tip into chronic symptoms. So the Stress Complaints Worksheet is a worksheet that shows you all the things that can cause stress directly, and you get to see how that's affected you in the past, how it's affecting you right now. And then there's 2 columns left blank, 1 month and 6 months, so that as you develop your stress-related practices for resilience building, you can see how they're affecting those symptomologies. So you get to see what those symptoms are, so you understand what a stress-related illness really is. You get to see how it's affecting you in the past, how it's affecting you right now on a scale, 1 being, I have it, but it's not that big a deal. A 5 being, I'm pretty incapacitated by this. And then as you practice techniques to help resolve that, you'll see how the symptoms go down or even possibly go away. Now, I want to talk to you just briefly about this idea of messages from the body. Our bodies are remarkable machines. They are sending us signals all the time. So let's use the example that's probably most common. You have a headache. And so what do? Well, we don't have time to slow down. Can't let a headache take us out. I still got to pick the kids up at school, get my work done. I'll do these chores. Woo! So I take a couple of over-the-counter pills and I feel better. I have my pain reliever on board. Yay! And I continue throughout my day. And then the headache comes back. And the next day I'm taking it again and again and again. That's like the body knocking on your door. It's asking, are you paying attention? There's a symptom here. It's a message to let you know homeostasis has no longer been maintained. Something's off. I've got a headache. And then as this gets worse, we just tend to take more and more of the pills. And so, okay, we're masking symptoms, but it's getting worse, right? Because left unmitigated, these symptoms tend to get worse. Maybe at some point we go to the doctor and we say, Doc, the over-the-counter stuff isn't working for me. And your doctor, instead of saying, are you meditating? Are you getting massages? Are you doing yoga? Are you doing other things to manage that stress in your body? He says, well, try this really powerful prescription pain reliever. And now you've got that. And that works for a minute until it becomes cluster headaches and migraines. And now maybe we're in a chronic condition that's a whole lot more difficult to unwind, maybe impossible to completely get rid of, right? So this is really about listening to what's happening here and not dismissing it, knowing that this message is a little red flag. And we don't want it into a big red flag that's waving in our face. We want to pay attention to it early so it's not pounding on our door trying to get our attention when we finally go, Jesus, maybe I should do something about this. This is about getting way ahead of the curve. The Stress Complaints Worksheet, again, with the Life Events Questionnaire, can really help you to kind of nail down the correlation between the life events you're going through, the stress you're under, and its manifestation as a physical disease in your body. That's super important. So if you want this particular worksheet, same as the last one, you go to my website, rogerrugiresiliencecoach.com. Scroll down to the bottom and you'll see some resilience assessment tools. There's actually 3 of them: the Life Events Questionnaire, Stress Complaints Worksheet, and a resiliency test. You can get 1, all 3, whatever you want. You send me that, I get an email, and then I ship it out to you. The reason for the extra step, friends, is these are copyrighted materials, and I don't want them just floating around out there. That would be in violation of the people who created these, that have given me permission to share them through my practice. So again, I'm not here to try to sell you anything. I'm just here to make sure that we keep our integrity through the process of sharing these forms. So as you get that form, feel free to comment here, get a hold of me via the email, on the website. There's all kinds of ways to connect with me if you have questions. They're self-explanatory. The sheets are complete. You can just do that start to finish. So I hope you do this. It's a great awareness builder. That gives us the ability to then decide, hey, I'm doing really good with my self-care. I'm feeling great about that. Or maybe it's time that I double down on this because there's a lot going on right now and I want my resilience built way up so that I have strong reserves. Make sense? On the next video, I'm going to talk to you about the resilience assessment so you know what all 3 of these forms are. And this is something I just generally help people with to understand, get the foundations, and then move forward. So I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care.